my friend. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm delighted to be here chatting with you.
It's so lovely.
I miss your wee face.
I miss you so much. We haven't seen each other for a long time, eh? I'm trying to think.
Last time when you were over here talking about Greek gods with my son.
Oh, he's a legend. Let's talk about your wee boy. Let's jump right in. I mean, because I did like Greek mythology. I mean, a lot. But this is the whole point of these interviews, Karen. You'll understand is that people will learn things like Liam McVeigh, the mainstream Scottish actress, did Greek mythology. But we do, we're trained. I know people don't believe it, but we're trained in the history of theatre and things, and so we did a lot of that when I was younger. And he was like, Adam, he was just like. Right in there, he knows the gods, the demigods, like he's super smart.
It's because of Avengers, you see, so he was obsessed with Thor. And he started to do that, and then, of course, some of my work's about Greek mythology and stuff, got obsessed with it. And so now, you know what I mean? I try to get him to do Carol Vorderman's maths programme, nightmare. Like, literally, I'm wanting to just go outside and just scream and God at 9 a.m. But see if it was about demigods and Greek gods and all that, he'd be all over it.
I'm presuming you're homeschooling.
He is in primary 7, so he's missed out on the end of his primary 7, so we're gutted about that. Oh. And poor wee soul, he got they get the norovirus. You know when you get that primary 7 thing, you get to go away and you go a residential thing, they get the norovirus, and Adam spewed all over his pals. Just spewed all over everybody sorry for everybody that's eating when you're watching this. Spewed all over everybody. So he missed out on that. And then the primary 7, they're not getting there's not that they get a prom or anything like that, although I think some kids do. Thank God.
Some kids do.
Some kids do. It's like serious business, all of that.
Aye. They've got limos done that can. I'm like, that what he's going to get for the high school? Is it going to be like a chopper coming in, or how do you top that?
I've never been in a limo. I've been in one of the SUV things when they pick you up, but I've never been in a limo.
Darling, we must hire a limo for the afternoon. That's what we'll do. We'll get it together.
So, yes, homeschooling, and then teaching, doing my own teaching, because of course my diary just get obliterated. Mm-hmm. So I was meant to be down in Blindbourne, which is a country opera house in Sussex, and I was meant to be there from the end of March. I was due to start rehearsals for 8 weeks, and then the show in like the middle of May, so middle of this month, and then I was going to be there to the middle of July.
It's a big job. That was a big job then.
It was a really big job, and so that's your earnings just gone. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So thank God my husband's got a full-time job, so that's good. Yes. Who said being an opera singer was glamorous, right? So I've just sort of tried to work out how to change my energy and do something positive. And so just be...
That's amazing. And have you had a lot, because you're very modest, but I would say that people will be jumping at this chance to get the chance of a one-to-one lesson with you, because we need to chat after we chat about this. We need to tell everybody about your job for anybody that doesn't know it.
No, but people that don't know what it is that I do, and they don't. Do you know? And that's what's brilliant about you doing these chats, because it means that we get an insight into different people and
I'm interviewing as many friends as I can, as many people that are really close to me, because I think that's what's nice, is for me to talk to my pals, and because I want to show you all off. I'm like, look at these people that I've got in my life, that all these amazing talents and that do all these different things. But I also think it's just nice for people to get an insight, isn't it? Like you're saying, there's a lot of perceived ideas that people have of industries and people.
Yeah, especially my job, because I speak and people are like that. You're a what?
Yes.
See, taxi, right, and you're going to a rehearsal or something. All the time, I get a taxi down into city halls or something like that, right? And you get a taxi, and the taxi driver says, "Oh, what's it going to be to do the night then, hen?" You're like that. Well, I'm singing. That's what I always just say. I'm singing tonight, and then they go, "Oh, what are you singing? Do you play in a band or something like that?" No, I'm
not quite. Kinda.
I'm a singer. All right, so what sort of songs is it? Is it like, do you know what I mean, like Joni Mitchell or something like that? I'm like that. Well, no.
Kinda.
So I don't know about you, but I never give it away because I'm always like, as soon as you say to people, well, I'm an opera singer, you can see one or two reactions. One is when people are like that, oh my God, tell me more about that, and that sounds so exciting. Or the other one of like that, oh.
All right. Yes.
Oh. And they're going, you know, their internal dialogue is, well, that's not for me. It's a crazy thing. So some talk about it, and you're like that, oh, you know, I'm from Arbroath. I wasn't born into some sort of grand family that, you know, walks about in period costume and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because this is what I want to show you, right? Right. First of all, I better tell anybody who doesn't know, because you'll be pure modest. So I've got to get you to sell, Karen. I've got to tell people the truth. You'll filter it all. Ladies and gentlemen, she is an international opera star. You're known. No. You are known, whether you like it or not. You're known internationally, right? This is incredible. And God, it's hard to structure this interview for me because obviously, first, before I knew you, I was a fan of your work because when I was younger, a lot of people don't know this. When I was younger, I did used to sing classically a wee bit. I used to sing. When I learned to sing in school, it was classical singing that I did. And then I went and did I was part of like the RSNO junior chorus and things. And so then you start to kind of, as a young woman, look at people who are doing it. And as I got to kind of graduating stage, I used to go with this lovely guy who actually I should mention, Mark Twinholm. He's was a beautiful man who was a mature student. Because he was older, we used to call him Old Mark. That's what we did. But he was the most beautiful man. And he used to take me to the opera because he loved the arts. And I was so young. And like you're saying, like where you come from and stuff, you know, I was kicking about Govan Hill on the south side of Glasgow and stuff. And then I had this opportunity to go to the opera. And also with the opera, the tickets were really expensive for a student. And he was like, I want to take you. I want you to learn about this because I sang. And he used to love me, watching me, hearing me singing. And that's when I started to go to the opera in Glasgow. And that's how I knew who you were. And see, when me and Greg McHugh, we got this opportunity to do Proms in the Green. But then I saw your name on the thing. And I says to Greg, do you know who that is? And he's like, yeah, she's singing. I went, oh, she's like incredible. Like, and I let him hear and he was blown away. He was like, she is incredible. And we heard you rehearsing. Do you remember we heard you rehearsing and we were totally nearly greeting? Like, oh, it was just immense without a mic. We met that night because me, Greg and I were doing this weekend a bit as Julie and Gary, and you were doing the famous Carmen song. I can't pronounce it properly. Yeah, you got to do the yeah. She knows. You've got to do, yeah. But it is the pure famous aria from Carmen.
Aria, it is an amazing aria, yeah.
And it's just like we watched you doing that, and it was like, oh, and I felt like I knew you because we'd spent the whole day together. And what was so lovely was I didn't think for a minute this opera singer would have any interest in our Scottish comedy, and then I heard your voice, and I was like, she's pure East Coast, like she's really regional like me. And I was like, my gosh. And it turned out that you were actually excited about me. Nice!
Oh my God. So I had done Proms in the Park, like, oh my God, when was that? I did it the first time. 2009? Is it 2009? Really? And I met a mutual friend who's a makeup artist, Nicole Mackey.
Yes, I love Nicole.
He was telling me she was working on Gary Tank.
He's the creator of the Julie.
He is the creator.
Jackie Malik designed it, but Nicole was Julie's makeup artist.
She's so the two of them.
Oh, they're a dream.
So funny.
They'll love a shout out, by the way. They'll love this.
Hi, girls.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they were telling me about this Gary Tank Command, and they're like, you've got to watch this. This is some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see in your life. And so we watched it. We've got the box set, everything. I was obsessed. Then when I found out the two of you were doing it, Nick will tell you, my husband will tell you, I basically couldn't sleep for the week leading up to it because I was beside myself. Absolutely. And what was my mum like? Even my wee mum was like,
your wee mum. But just listen, did you hear that? Did everybody hear that? This is what I love. Seeing her go to Karen's house, just in her life, she'll do something like that. She doesn't even know it's my whole body goes. But yeah, what's amazing about that is that what's so lovely, because you know I believe about like the universe and the law of attraction and all that, and I just think, oh my God, like I was sitting there thinking about this amazing woman and she was sitting going, oh, I can't wait to meet them.
Yeah, and I just know, like, watching that show and how finely tuned it is, and the scripts are amazing and the performances are amazing, and watching you two, it's so close linked to what we do.
Yeah.
But opera singers, we don't always think we're the greatest actors. Do you know what I mean? So being around, just like, oh my God, tell me everything you know. Tell me the secrets I want to know.
Do you know what though? It's so amazing because it's such a mutual appreciation in it. It's like, and when Greg found out you were a fan, he was so touched by that because he was like, my gosh. It's interesting because I was going to say to you that when I was younger, I think part of the thing that appealed to me about you, that's something that drew me to you, which this is what I loved. I loved this. I couldn't believe that you were an opera singer, right, when I saw this. Like, look, like that, you know what I mean? You're just like, she's an opera singer. Like, she looks so cool.
It's a funny old world that we get these ideas about what it is that people do, and you know, and what their lifestyle must be like, you know.
Yeah, because that's what that's what I wanted to ask you about. Because when I was younger, and obviously I was going to the opera, and part of the reason I didn't go is because I kind of couldn't afford it, and I also felt. The first time I went, I remember feeling very a Julia Roberts and Richard Gere getting in, like, oh my God, should I be here? You know? And not that me and Mark were, but that was that kind of relationship.
No, that's all right. You're okay.
Mark, he was so offended. But I just felt very like, should I be here? And I remember saying that to him. He's such a lovely man. I still chat to him, and he was like, yes, you do deserve to be here because, you know, you understand music and you understand art, and you want to learn about narrative through different languages and through song and blah, blah, blah. And I got to see the most incredible, like Madame Butterfly and Barbara Seville, Carmen, Aida, like all these operas that I probably wouldn't have seen till I was much older, you know? Yeah. And I just wonder what you think about, there's a lot of kind of, what's the word? Like a bit of kind of scrutiny about it, and kind of people presuming that it's a very highbrow art, and there's a bit of kind of, it's a bit elitist, and it's kind of the club, almost like what Judy and I were talking about the tennis world. Yeah. And that's what I thought about you. I was like, here's this woman who is like, sounds so regional, it's so down to earth. You know, we swear when we're not on camera. We're like, like I always say, like, my mum. We're like the East and the West. We joke, don't we? We say like we're like the East and the West, like, because we're so similar. Like, and I just wonder what you think about that, because it's your industry and you're so hugely successful in it.
It's such a hard one, because I think the opera world doesn't do itself any favours as well, because it sort of sometimes can extend this thing about elitism and all of that, you know. Look at day, it's cheaper to go to the opera than it is to go to a football match, or it is to go and see Beyonce, or it is to go and see Justin Timberlake, or it is to go and see any of these acts at the Hydro. And I'm not saying about, you know, people at the Hydro, or like some, you know, going to see some at the King's in Aberdeen, or, you know, any of these things. They're all great, but there's this misunderstanding that opera's that much more expensive. Yeah, it is when you go to these huge houses like the Met in New York and stuff like that. It can be really expensive. But here in Glasgow, do you know what I mean? Or in Edinburgh, Scottish Opera go all over the country. And, you know, you can get decent tickets. And the thing is, like, I often get asked, what's the best opera to go and see if you've never been to one? And I used to say, I'll go to something like The Marriage of Figaro or something like that, because... I saw It's a cute wee story, and the music's not too intimidating. And now I've changed my mind about that. I think people need to go for something that's a massive piece like Madame Butterfly or something.
Yeah, I think so.
It needs to be something that you're going to have. I always say the best measuring stick for art is you either love it or you hate it. If you're somewhere in the middle, then you haven't had an experience properly.
Yeah.
If you're indifferent, then it's kind of, you know. So go for something big like Madame Butterfly or an Aida or something like that, because you'll have a proper experience and you'll see what it is. It's just drama.
So powerful.
Just with singing. But when somebody stands up and sings an aria and they're dying, do you know what I mean? And they're using the full power of their voice. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. One of the most exhilarating things. It's amazing. Yeah. It's
but
amazing.
That's the thing as well that is important to point out, that people kind of often go, oh, it's really for me. And you're like, but it's through everything. See, in the modern day, if you think you don't like opera or classical music and you watch an advert that you love, or if you're watching a really intense part of a movie, anything really, or do you know what's really interesting? Many artists' entrances, like Robbie Williams used to come on to Carmina Burana, and it was like,
exactly.
And there's 60,000 people, like, and you're like, that's opera. And you're so moved by it, and you're so excited, and it's a big build up, and you're like, that's what that is. It's like, totally. It's like, such an interesting thing.
X Factor used to make me laugh all the time. Yeah, I do watch it sometimes. I've watched it in a wee while. I haven't watched it in a wee while. I'd be rubbish at it. But they all, you know, when they do the thing, when the judges come in and they open the doors, and they've got Carmina Burana playing, and you're like, it's dramatic, and everybody's like, oh, it's so dramatic. Yeah, it's dramatic because it's classical music, it's opera.
It's written. It's written for that. It's written in that way. That's the thing. It's like, it's really interesting. I think that's a really important thing to point out to young people that maybe think that, and it might not be a lot of people. Again, we're talking about stigma, so I suppose it's about stigma. People saying, "Oh, young people are just being like that." And like, no, but maybe they really feel like they don't fit in and they wouldn't understand it, and that's where the boredom comes from. I don't like it, but it's really because they're a bit frightened to go, I'm not going to get this, you know.
And they haven't had access to it. They haven't had any access to it. And I mean, I didn't know what opera was. I had no clue. So when I used to go for singing lessons, the only reason I started singing was because when I was like knee-high to a grasshopper, like 2.5, 3, my dad's got tapes of me trying to sing Mulla Kintyre by the Wings.
Yes, I never knew this.
Yeah, and Boney M, I used to sing Brown Girl in the Ring and stuff like that by the rivers of Babylon.
Do we have footage of this anywhere?
No. And I started to sing, and so then my aunt, she then said to my mum, you should send her for singing lessons. And so there was a woman in Arbroath, where I'm from, who gave singing lessons. It was 50p an hour, and that was until I was 17. I saw her. Yeah, really? 50p an hour. Yeah.
And that's the singing that you did, was just singing lessons, like you weren't doing any other organised?
No, because there wasn't anything at that time. The NICOS thing that you know, like everybody is able to do now didn't exist. So
I can't believe that. That shows you how much talent you've got as well, because I know that, you know, as artists, we need to reference the fact that there's a massive amount of training involved, but there's talent. You need to have talent also. Like, and
well, we went.
That
there
was
a local music festival, right? Arbroath Music Festival still goes to this day, and you used to go in. I don't know. Did you ever do any like festival stuff?
Yeah,
and stuff.
I did, like East Glasgow and Glasgow Music Festival when it was the first time I stood and sang a solo myself, and my mum, she's terrible, like she just does not cry at anything, and I'll never forget looking at her. I was singing I Dreamed the Dream, and she was pure like I love so it. So you did them as well.
Yeah.
So you did
So Molly, she just got, so she, like, there's, you know, the test pieces and stuff that you've got to do. So, and I went in for the first music festival. I think my mum will tell me, right, I think I was either 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I maybe went in
for 3
classes or 4 classes, and I won them all. And I went round with all of these trophies, and we just we're like, oh, look at this, you know.
Yes.
That was the beginning, and then I was just obsessed with how singing made me feel.
Was that the performance moment when you started to go, this is actually performance now?
Yeah. And just the sensation, you know yourself, when you're in a scene that's really dramatic and you're loving the storyline, you just get into the delivery of it and it makes you feel a certain way. I think
how does singing make you feel? If you could put it into words.
It's a really great question. I've never been asked.
I'm going to agree. I'm such a fan girl.
Oh my God. It makes you feel it makes you feel like $1 million, actually. It does.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're invincible for that second in time. It makes you get a reaction. There's a physical reaction.
Yeah.
It's a visceral thing because your body's vibrating and it's vibrating with the music that's around you as well. I love, as you saw, because I did this concert that we'll probably talk about at some point, when you're in the middle of an orchestra, the feeling of them playing and you standing there, like you're standing in front, so you're getting the vibration coming that way.
Amazing.
To back. And it's, I don't know, you just get taken away.
It's amazing. It is. It's what you're talking about is when we oh God, I'm so embarrassing because like your husband and all that were there and I was like I cannot.
Oh.
The minute you start singing. That is why I cry. It's such an amazing gift you've got, and like I love the moment when you're on stage and I can't do it, but when you're doing a concert, like not if you're doing a full opera, come on, people see you coming on and then you wait and then you sing it. That's my favourite, right? Because see that moment, like just before you're out to sing, it was like a wee moment and everything just went and I went, oh my God, it was so powerful.
It sounds kind of contrite to say it, but I do have a moment of breathing in. What's the atmosphere in the hall?
Because that's hard, because you're watching them before you start singing. That's very alien almost. It's an interesting thing for a performer.
Like the zoo. It is like being in the zoo, especially if you can see them. But
you can't see them. I was going to say it's very light in a concert as well. You can see the house a lot, which I noticed.
If you're in like Theatre Royal or something like that, it's black out there, so you can't see. But like in the concert hall in Glasgow, City Halls is really bright.
Yeah.
When you're doing a title with piano, it's often really bright. But that's what calms me down, weirdly.
Me too, interestingly.
Now, what's that about?
So, see when you mentioned Theatre Royal, right? I see when I'm doing, so you'll probably agree with us actually. It's the two genres, isn't it? So see if I'm doing like a piece of theatre, right, with a narrative and everything, then I don't need to see the audience. It's all there in the writing, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm doing like a concert, a variety type thing where I need the to and fro, that sets the rhythm of the whole piece. And I suppose it's the same with you, where if you're doing a concert, there's a little element of movement. You can have a wee bit, and the orchestra, I'm sure, will change a little bit of what they're doing. But if you're doing a set piece, it's different. And see a Black Wall and variety, it makes me feel as if I'm going to choke and need to see people. And it's interesting you said that, because I like to kind of lift the house in Theatre Royal or places where you get a Black Wall, because...
I'll about the fact that it's conversation. Music's conversation. It's just a
conversation.
So it's a conversation between the instruments. It's a conversation between any other singers that are there, but it's also a musical conversation between the singer and the conductor.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about that, you know, communication information. And when you get into a hall and you feel the temperature, not the physical temperature, but you feel, you know yourself, you do one gag and you're like, okay, are they with me or are they not?
Yeah.
Get over that.
Or.
Yeah. So you do the first number and you're like, are they breathing? Are they not breathing? What's happening? And usually in my work, it's if they're not breathing, they're
good
with you.
Yes.
You know, you hear them all rustling, or, you know, the sweetie rustlers are in.
Oh my God.
And I mean, look, look, if you've got a cough, get your sweeties out before the time.
Just get unwrapped, sweets. Just get unwrapped, sweets. That's just what I say. Don't make it sweeties. Just unwrap them. For me and everybody else in the room.
Yeah. Unwrap your sweets. If you've got a bottle of juice, you go in.
Yes. And do not let your sweeties roll down the stalls either. That's nothing. It's nothing near off-putting.
No, well, the thing is, if they are going to let the sweeties run down the stalls, you know that I'm going to be in the stalls at the end of the show, hoovering them all up.
Have you fun walking the stage?
Exactly.
You know what, I'm going to show a couple of pictures of you performing, because it's so lovely the way you talk about your room and everything, and I've got some beautiful that for drama.
Oh my God, yeah, that's Bluebeard's Castle. So that was at Scottish Opera.
Yes.
And so this is the story of Bluebeard, who has these wives from previous marriages, and he meets Judith, and she says to him, open the doors, there are locked doors in this house.
I was going to say, is this the door one that you were,
Yeah, and so every time she opens the door, the first 2 or 3 she sees like it's like an armoury, there's a torture chamber, then she sees a garden, this is the garden here,
right,
and she sees these gorgeous flowers, and then every time she touches the flowers they turn to blood. That was
incredible. They are.
It was so, I've kept that dressing gown.
I was going to say, I didn't know if I should ask in front of everyone. I'm going to think I've seen that in your wardrobe.
No, kept that.
I like to sometimes try and take a wee thing from each job if I can. I like to keep something from a character. All my designers don't know that, so maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I've got one thing from every character I've played. But me being me, I don't know where they are. You know that way? Like, somebody else would be like, yeah, they're on this box and it's seamed here, and I'm like, I don't know where they are.
Yeah, there's someplace. Someplace. The other thing that's important to say about that photograph is that that's a real woman there.
I know.
You know, so it's not like
a model. It's not like all corseted and wigged.
You know what I mean?
It's so contemporary.
It's so important to say that, you know, there's this whole thing in both our industries about how we should look and all of that. And at the end of the day, I think you want to see somebody that looks like you.
Yes.
Sometimes we want Kim Kardashian, although I could give it a wee bit. Sometimes we want it. But sometimes you just want to, you know, when you want to be moved about something, you want to see something that looks like you, or that you could imagine is one of your pals.
Yes.
You know, I think that's really important about all of that.
I think that's a great thing to say, because I really think a lot about things being identifiable, you know, and how you can follow a story because you can identify with it. And I think sometimes we can lose that a wee bit in art, you know. And art's art. I mean, if something is supposed to be that way, I get it. I don't feel offended in the slightest if somebody writes a story and they say, okay, this character's 5'8", she's brunette, she's very, very slim. That doesn't faze me at all. But what does faze me is sometimes if the part isn't written in that way, and it can just be interpretive. I was actually going to ask you what your advice to any young performer, because you're doing a lot of teaching just now, and I just wondered what your advice would be looking at.
So that was Proms in the Park first time round.
Really?
So let me think now. That would have been 2008, 2009 maybe. Yeah.
So a while ago. So I'm thinking.
My wee boy, he was sitting in the pram at that one.
Oh my God!
shouting out, "Mum!" when I came on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, looking back then, you go, like, what would you say to somebody who's kind of starting out-ish or thinking about it, or especially for your industry, like, what advice would you give them? What would you say to them?
Know your own worth.
Really?
That's what I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, you know, because, know your own worth. Oh my God, know your own worth. Because we spend the whole time trying to be perfect, right? And I have 3 things that I teach when I talk about when I teach the sort of triangle of psychology that I talk about. But the one that's sort of important for young people to know is perfection doesn't exist in life. It doesn't exist in life, so it shouldn't exist in art.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're chasing for perfection, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
Chasing for creating something and being the best that you can be, you've got to reframe it like that. Because if you're chasing for perfection, every time you get up and you're rehearsing a monologue or something like that and a bit doesn't go the way you want it, you want to chase and not be negative about it. Just think, right, well, what was different there that made that weird, or that the rhythm wasn't right, or if that went different, can I use something that came out of that time to influence how I do it from now on?
Yeah.
And I wish I'd known that, but then, you know, when I came down to Glasgow to study singing, I was 17. You know, this 17-year-old lassie came from Arbroath, didn't know really anything about classical music other than what I had done in my higher music.
Karen, how weird's that? That's the same as me. I was just turning 17 and I hadn't done drama. I wasn't able to do drama in school. We didn't have a drama department. How weird is that?
That is so weird.
Same
it's such a similar path, isn't it?
Let me show the east to the west picture that we've got that we love, where we're like Patsy and Eddie from Ab Fab. That's us after your concert hall.
Look at that trout pout on that, honest to God.
But we do, I just do feel as if we're so similar from 2 different sides of the country. And that's just, I didn't know that. I didn't realise that age, that was the same age as well. Isn't it amazing how you can be totally drawn to someone?
I know. It's so, because it's such a shared experience.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's so weird.
You know. And I think too, something that's come out of all this teaching the last couple of weeks, because we're Scottish, I think we're inherently like the underdog. We feel like we've all got imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know? So I was teaching, I was talking to a student that I sort of mentor. She's down in Manchester just now, but she's just got into the Vienna Staatsoper so like one of the biggest opera houses in the world.
How old is she?
I don't know how old Stephanie is. Maybe, I would say maybe 24, maybe 25. Wow. She's maybe younger than that. Apologies, Stephanie, if you're younger than that. But she's young, you know, she's in her mid-20s, and she's going to do the Young Artist programme there. And we were just talking about imposter syndrome, and she's like, how do I get over it? And I said, know your worth.
Yeah.
The same amount of talent and the same amount of drive, and you've put the 2 things together and go there, be open, you know, experience everything. That's what we've got to do, you know. Something
to be said about crossing over fear, isn't there? Like, we're not allowed to say, like, if my mum works in HR, right, and if I says to my mum, can you type a letter? Are you quite good at that? She'd be like, uh-huh. I'd be like, are you really good at it though? Like, she'd be like, well, I'm brilliant at it. I do it every day for my work. But if I say to you, not you, because you've got it, you know, but maybe the young you, if I went, Cameron, you're a good singer, you'd go,
yeah.
And you're not allowed to say, yes, I'm really good, it's my job, I worked really hard at it, and I'm really good at it. And it's a very Scottish thing where you're not allowed to kind of blow your own trumpet, you know, and that's what holds us back.
Totally. My mum is like that. My mum, she would never admit to being good at anything, although she was ducks at her school and all of that, so she was clearly clever, and she was all, you know, she was good at maths and all academics, but she would never admit it.
Yeah.
But Dad, he made his own business, and he was a plumber and just made his own business. I think he sort of taught me a wee bit of the resilience and accepting your own skill set.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a wee bit of being, I'm better at it now, but as you say, when I was younger, not a chance. Or like when I get taxi, and I say to a taxi driver, where are you going? Well, I'm singing at a concert tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, I'm not off, and then I'm going to go.
Oh my God! I wanted to ask you quickly about a funny story that I know about that makes me laugh so much from your work, just to give people an idea of the difference between opera singing and singing like what like that I would do.
Oh, and I was doing last night the proms with Toronto Symphony, so and my husband, to give it some context, my husband's Canadian, so we were out there, and I studied in Toronto for a wee bit, so you know, all the families there, everything, it's all fantastic, and I had to sing real as part of the programme. And so the sound engineer came up and said, this is your head mic. And I said, oh no, don't give me a head mic. No, I don't need a head mic. No, you'll need a head mic because there's a choir behind you and they're going to sing. I said, oh, no, head mic it was. So got the head mic. And we get into the number in show, and I went for a high note. And then the next thing we knew was that the doors of the hall were getting opened and all these people started running out. And I had caused an electrical fault in the sound desk because the frequency had obviously just made it go poof, and I set the fire alarm off.
So in other words, you blew the roof. Now people go, Can go and blow the roof off the place with your talent. That's what she did, folks. She blew the speakers apart.
So, but the fact was that, like, they were trying to evacuate all the people. Me and the conductor were like, what's going on? We'll just keep going. Aye, why not? So here we are. We're just passing on. And they had to come, the fire, as they call them, the fire marshal, had to come onto the stage and say, actually, you need to leave now because there's actually a fire drill. So in that red dress that you saw on that picture, I was standing out in the street in Toronto, surrounded by fire trucks, and I mean,
that's the one.
Only happened to me. That's the dress. And it's got a massive train on the back as well. So you know,
do you remember
just a small.
When I came to your house the last time and you opened your wardrobe of gowns and I was greeting? I think, was it that one? Yeah. It was the big red, and you. And I was like, and I was like holding it to me. I was like, just try to put some of the amazing energy that's been on that. Some places you performed. That's what I'm going to ask you about quickly because we're going to run out of time. But
of course we could talk all day.
I know. People like that. People will stop watching it, mean you're still chatting away, love their lives. I've got a list here, right? Just to give people an idea. So here's the Philharmonics. This is the places that you go and the Philharmonics you've sung with, right? This is just a handful of the examples. So she has sung with Boston, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Rotterdam, Berlin, and London. Now that's like that's like that much of actually what you've done. And you've also sang at the world famous Carnegie Hall as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've done a recital in there.
So I'm just wondering, like, what has been your favourite place to go and sing and why?
So there are two answers to this, I think. The first answer is the hall that I like the most. It feels like home, and I can't believe I say this. And it's born out of something negative that happened that I turned.
Oh, really? Right.
I made my debut at the proms, BBC proms in 2002. And the conductor was not nice at all and sort of picked on me because I was the young one. So
really?
Once I came, and I had a broken foot as well at the time, so I was like hop along Cassidy on horse tranquilizers, trying to sing some deep and meaningful piece about Elijah, right? Try to be angelic.
Hop along Cassidy on horse tranquilizers.
You only the real stuff from me, don't you? And so the Albert Hall, because when I went out into the Albert Hall, I was so relieved that I didn't have to deal with his bullying anymore. Really? That I just went out and I really just sang. And you know, every time I go back there, I get the most amazing feeling of just being relaxed. And I mean, there's something 100,000 people in there. I mean, it's huge, but I love it. And then the Metropolitan Opera in New York.
Oh, that's where you did the one with all the mirrors, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was one of my favourite costumes. You suited that so much. Tell us about that gown.
It weighed something horrendous, like 30 pounds or something, this dress. And I had to limbo underneath stuff to get on the set. And then I was on a lift that had to come up, and the lift broke in the middle of the thing. No, because of me, thank God, although typical me, I was like that. Did I break it? I've broken it. I've broken it. I'm going to get sued.
Tell them the bit about this that's the most impressive, though, about the start note.
Yeah, so
this is incredible, guys, honestly.
So they finished, the orchestra stopped playing. I was 10 feet back from the front of the stage. The lift came up, I arrived, so it felt like waving everybody as if it was here. I was in the bathroom or something. Then they didn't give me a start note for my aria, for my song, so I just had to start singing Cold, and I just came in on the right note. I don't know how that happened.
How amazing is that?
I rehearsed so much, but you could see the conductor as I came up. All I just saw was this face. Where have you been? Like,
oh, before you would come by him, he'll be at the bottom, won't he? So you'll have literally went by.
But the best bit about that was that I always took a bag of like biscuits, sweets, muffins, stuff, because there were guys lying underneath the set, and as I came up, I would always deliver some sweets.
That's brilliant.
You've got to look after the techies, don't you, Leah?
It's nice to know, yeah, and that's what I was going to say. It's nice to know, actually not much difference. You go, oh, but that's the opera, they wouldn't do that. You're like, no, we do stuff like that, like loads of jokes and things that go on in the wings, and because you got to keep morale up, and it is your work. I mean, you are, you know, you're not very strict all the time. You know, we're at work and we muck about and have a laugh, and it is a pure team effort, isn't it? You've got to look after your crew. The crew are the backbone of anything, of any production.
A big bottle of whiskey on the last show. I'm giving you this, but you're not allowed to have one drop of it until I'm off that lift safely. And of course, there's health and safety. They wouldn't do that anyway.
Aye.
Just making sure.
Aye.
You know.
It's
like, this Scottish lassie bringing us biscuits and everything and sweeties. What about the good stuff? It's like, oh, hold on now. Hold on. Yeah. So
that's your favourite. They're your favourite places. What has been your proudest moment in your career? What are you most proud of?
God, I don't know. I really don't know. I've been so lucky to have so many. Probably when I got to Royal Opera down in London.
Yeah.
No, because that's one of those things that, and it's funny because I'd sung at the Met before I sang there, but
wow.
I think that was the ultimate goal. You know, that's the ultimate goal. You want to be there, you want to do that. So yeah, probably that, I think.
My gosh, it's so amazing what a career you've had. I'm just wondering, if you weren't an opera singer, what would you be?
I'd be a therapist.
I think you'd be brilliant at that, by the way.
I'd be a therapist.
You're so wise. You've got such a great way of looking at the world. You're so wise.
Well,
I think you'd be a great therapist.
During this time, I'm going to do a psychology degree. I think I'm talking about doing it now. We've talked about this before, that I think in the arts we need that kind of really focused help, and so I think that I want to do that because I'm interested in it, and I'm interested in how we can help performers. You know, when you show up, you know yourself, you show up on a job and you get in your digs late on a Sunday night. The only thing that you've got in the fridge is a pint of milk and a half-eaten block of cheese. It's freezing. You can't work out how to get the heating on. Yeah. All of that. And how do you psychologically deal with that?
It's the come down of being on, and we were chatting about this as well another time, you and I, we were talking about how adrenaline is not good for you, like the way we use adrenaline, like that moment of you in that lift, I mean, that is not even just show adrenaline, that would have been everything coursing through your veins, right? And how you then, and also as well, when you perform on your own, like, you know, when you do a concert solo or when I do a one-woman show, there's nothing like coming off to the sound of your own feet. Like, you get this beautiful big applause, right? Then when you cross that door, that stage door, like not the stage door, but the wing door, the actual physical stage door, it's silent, and it's just like
nothing.
Your wee feet, and that can't be good for you either, coming from the huge extremes of emotion.
But I'll work out how to deal with that. But my favourite bit of that, I mean, I meditate, right? I'm big on meditation, so that's. But my favourite bit is getting home to my jammies. Everybody thinks it's going to be a big glamour.
I know.
Get home to my jammies. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Eat my Mars. Have had my Mars bar in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I get in my jammies and I eat my Mars bar, and that's what I do.
And like, I'll drive back from doing a big show, and like, I'm like, sometimes you can be home before your audience. You're like, straight up the road, jammies on, in front of the TV, watching all the stuff you've missed or whatever. And sometimes I just laugh, and it must be even more so for you. You've come from this really extravagant place, singing really classical music, and then you're like, you're mad. I don't think you eat your mash by a knife and fork, do you?
I've never had a deep fried one. Have you ever had a deep fried one?
No, but I'm going to say, as an opera singer, would you have to eat it with a knife and fork? Have you had one, no?
Never had a fried Mars bar.
I think it tastes
good. That's the
though.
thing I get asked about the most, you know, when I go places. People are like, oh yeah, you're from Scotland, that's where they have that deep fried Mars bar. I'm like, never tried it. Don't know what it is. The thought of it gives me the boke a wee bit. Actually,
I think it would probably be quite nice, because I quite like pastry, like warm pastries. So I think it would be like, you know, like churros or something.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. It's
Really
in there with fish. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but then I like fish, Karen.
I know, but you don't fish with your Mars bar though, do you?
I think I just would eat pretty much anything apart from sweet corn. I wanted to ask you what you're most proud of in your whole life. What is the thing that makes you most proud of yourself?
Having my family, my husband and my son, without a shadow of a doubt. I always say that the two of them, I couldn't do my job without my husband for a start. Yeah. He was the one men always said that he thought that I could do what I do. And Adam, my wee boy, is just, he's just amazing. He really gets it. And, you know, we've gone through times where he's like, oh, Mum, do you really have to be on the road? Do you really? And so we had a conversation about it once, and I said to him, right, so maybe I'll do less work, and maybe let's have a talk about it. And he sat and he went, no, because you love it. You love it. So just keep doing it. It's like, okay, all right, you know. So
he's a pure credit to you. He's a credit to you both.
He's a great wee lad.
He's super smart.
He's right enough, especially with homeschooling. Carol Vorderman.
Honestly, though, I would struggle teaching Adam. I'd be like, no, Adam, I'm going to teach you about this today.
You know what? Like, if I do this, Mum, can I get the Xbox? Like, yeah, can.
Yes.
Thank God I've got the wee, because you go in, it's like being in a call centre. It makes me laugh so much, because you go in and they're like, yeah, could you go and kill blah, 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 and then they're shooting all these things and everything in a call centre. So it reminds me of when I used to work for National Rail Inquiries, you know.
There's an exclusive. I've got a couple of quick fire for you, right? I've got a this or that. Mm-hmm. Ready? Karen Cargill, this or that. Go. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Phone call or text?
Phone call.
Toast or eggs?
Eggs.
I mean, they should be together, shouldn't they? Yeah. Eggs. Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
While walking, music or podcasts?
Music.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Yeah. Pop or indie?
Pop.
Yeah. I love how I'm like, this is your question. I'm like, yeah. Cake or crisps?
Cake.
Oh, I'm crisps. Right, shut up, Leah. Swimming or sunbathing?
It used to be swimming, but it's definitely now sunbathing.
This is why you don't interview your pals. Oh. big party or small gathering?
Small gathering, I think now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a good one. Work hard or play hard? It's pure mixture in it.
Can I be in between?
I know.
Play hard. I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, play hard.
Nice car or I know the answer to this. Nice car or nice home interior?
Oh, that's hardcore.
I thought I'd know what you'd pick if you had to pick. If you had to pick.
Nice home interior.
That's what I thought. Yeah. What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Bath or shower?
Shower.
Stilettos or sandals?
Long as they're nice looking ones, sandals.
I just got an image as well. Did you get an image? An image for you and a wee pair of shorts with white socks with a wee buckies on.
Nice brown buckle. Oh God.
Hi,
Karen.
Right, okay, here's your last questions. Would you rather, these are quite cute, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Okay. I'm going to go for the one horse-sized duck.
Good choice. Would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or live 10 lives that last 100 years each?
10 lives that last 100 years each. Because
That'd
each time you do something different.
Exactly.
Oh. I see where you're going.
And it wouldn't be cheating. Oh, Karen.
I love it.
Would you rather be with that's really good. Would you rather be without elbows or without knees?
Without knees?
With your sandals on?
Without knees, because then I wouldn't have to do so many squats.
Without knees, with her sandals on.
Oh my God.
Would you rather be able to stop time or fly?
Stop time.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you rather be a deep sea diver or an astronaut?
Astronaut.
Me too.
I tried scuba diving once and I just felt like I didn't belong in their house. No, I don't belong in your house. I'm sorry.
Did you do any singing under there just to see what it was like?
Could you imagine?
Karen, you're a pure angel. I want to say thank you so much for chatting with me. I hope people have learned loads and loads from you. You're such a wise owl and you're such an incredible talent and I love you very much. Thank you so much.
Love you a bit, darling.